So we thought that all of you are often coming for listening to lectures. So what is the speciality of a retreat? Why do we have the retreat? So I have the responsibility of explaining that, because I am the person who first started the retreats, because I was finding that people listen to the lecture. Initially they come with a very long face, depressed, as Swamiji was saying. Arjuna became depressed. After listening to the lecture for about half an hour, the face brightens up, the long face becomes a little roundish. That we could see from here, because earlier also when Swamiji was speaking, we too were sitting behind and looking at the faces of the people, their changes in the face, everything we have been observing. So they look very inspired, bright when the lecture is over, and they would come out of the hall. Or before coming out of the hall, we used to find that it has become a marketplace. The moment the lecture is over, all starts talking of the same family life, who has gone where to the son or grandson, gone here to study, there to, who is doing well, who is suffering from diseases. So the whole lecture, purpose of the lecture, it's over as soon as the lecture is over. And those who can carry it out of the hall, by the time the snacks are given or anything, that everything is gone. So seeing that, we were feeling that, what is this? We want some journey to start or to continue, and there should be some transformation within. But as in Bengali we say, Putapatra, that means in a basket made of bamboo. If you pour some water, it falls off soon. So whether it is a basket like that or some sort of a semi-leaking basket, the things fall off. And they go back to their home in the same thing. Suppose even if the Jnana Yajnas used to continue those days for more than 7 days or so, so every day they come back and get exposed to the knowledge, but they get back home, and whatever effect is there, it comes down to maybe 20%, depending on the people, from 5% to 60%, like that. So we were thinking how to get a more effective way of communication. So the one thing we found, that going back home should be stopped. Now, had it been now, it would have been to confiscate the mobile phone. But we are not allowed to do that. So they would go back, and how to continue, how to have a more efficient communication. So we thought that we should ask the people that they should stay in the ashram or center, wherever we are having the retreat, that at least they should be isolated from their family life and professional life. So it was a very courageous one. In ashram once we had 3 months retreat, and very few, 5 or 6 participated. We came down from 3 months to 5 weeks. Only a few 10 participated. And all said that, Swamiji, we cannot take leave such long time. Please reduce the time. We reduced it to 3 weeks, then to 2 weeks, then to 10 days. And now we have retreat for 3 days, 4 days, that the 4th day people want to run away soon, so it is 3.5 days. So, what do you think that the speakers, they want to communicate to the participants? Can you tell me? Huh? Most of you will think knowledge, is it not? What for we have come? You will think that to gain some knowledge, spiritual knowledge or whatever. But truly speaking, what the speaker, the saint, wants to communicate is through knowledge, not the knowledge, but through knowledge they communicate lightness, cheerfulness, peace, love, purity. What? Knowledge is used as a vehicle. Words are used as a vehicle. But what the saint tries to communicate is purity, love, and cheerfulness. As I said, the faces, long faces become round. And the cheerfulness, lightness. We are always making our life, our mind too heavy because we take everything too much seriously, is it not? Seriousness is a good virtue, but we are serious about everything. What I have said, maybe one or two words. If it is criticized, we get angry about it. We look at life with too much of seriousness. If you could look at life, take life a little lightly, it would have been much better, perhaps. So, those are the things the saint wants to communicate through knowledge. And how can we receive what the saints want to communicate? There are certain qualities which help us to receive the maximum we can receive. The one, I would say, the first of all, what are we doing? We are using words produced from our intelligent thinking, that is mind and intelligence, and those words we are using a microphone or otherwise we are communicating. The recipients are receiving the words, thinking about it. Through that, in their concepts, in their mind, some changes are taking place. Now, in this process, what we need is, first we say receptivity. That is what our intelligence can receive. Now, to have the receptivity, how will the intelligence be? Is it not the intelligence have to be humble? So the humility is a great quality in receiving what a saint communicates. Now, for a humble intelligence, whatever is communicated, we will try to inquire into it, try to understand what is the person trying to communicate, rather than criticizing, comparing with our past knowledge and our scriptural knowledge or what we have listened from others. No, this is not right, this is like this, and perfecting our own model of truth or our own idea about God or whatever. That will take place automatically. But the fact is that unless our intelligence is humble, it will not be receptive, or we will not be receptive. So to get the maximum benefit from a retreat, it has to be, we have to be receptive, and for that the intelligence has to be humble. That we should be inquiring, not criticizing. That what is the purpose that this was told, what is behind that, try to understand that. The second part is, even if we are able to understand what the speaker is communicating, because if we have the receptivity, if the intelligence is humble, we understand that most of it will be, at least a certain percentage will be understood and received by the listener. But thereafter, what I just now described about the audience, what happens to the audience when they go back or go out of the hall, it means there is necessity for another quality, which we call retentivity. Or Swamiji was saying dharana, it is actually the retentivity. How much we can retain from what we have understood. Now the receptivity part, the speaker can try to, if our intelligence is receptive and humble, then the understanding of what the concepts of the truth can be made feasible or possible by a proper, rational, or an inspiring presentation. But even when we receive, we are not able to retain it. That is the major problem we find with everybody, as the devotees report, that when we listen to it, we feel that we have understood everything. But when we go back, again the same problems, the same questions come up. We are not able to apply. That means the truth, when we hear and we understand also, we find a real difficulty in holding the truth, understanding the truth, absorbing the truth, make it our own. Switch off making our own. This is very important. What we have understood and we have accepted, that also why are we not able to retain? We are not able to make it our own. Now that part, the speaker cannot help you too much. However much we may tell stories, the speaker may give examples, illustrations, to make it clear to your intelligence, to your mind, and inspiring you also. It's not just making it clear to your intelligence, but inspiring you a lot, so that you feel that from tomorrow onwards I will do meditation, I will study this, I will change all my activities, all my behavior. Going back again, we feel that it is the same thing. Because to increase that, to enhance our retentivity or dharana kshamata, in Sanskrit it is called dhriti. In Bhagavad Gita you will find dhriti is also of three kinds. That is sattvika, rajasika and tamasika. That division has been made. Buddhi is also like these three kinds, like that. The dhriti is also of these three kinds. So as long as the satya dhriti, that means to hold on to the truth, that dhriti, sattvika dhriti is not developed in our being, in our personality, we will not be able to absorb the knowledge, make it our own, and apply it in our daily life. So the retreat is very important in that exposing you right from the morning till night to the same thing in different manner through different practices for a few days. Had it been for 3 months, it would have been great. But I know that how much it is possible. But at least in 3 days also, if we keep ourselves away from other engagements, even when we go back home or in the car itself, not to use the mobile for all other involvements, to the extent we can keep the involvements less, the effect will be more. It is for us, it is not for us, it is for you to do. That there the speaker cannot do anything. So get the maximum benefit of the retreat. It is for the participants to disinvolve from the other things. Or even if you get involved, do it on the substratum of what you have learned. That is, right then start changing the behavior on the basis of what you have listened to or you have liked or you have absorbed on that. To apply it right from the beginning. So the difference between the normal lecture for 1.5 hours or like that for a few days and retreat is this, that it helps you to retain, absorb, retain and make the values and the concepts, it's basically the values and the qualities your own, and so that we can apply it in our daily life. In my part of it, the title given is Walking the Inner Path. That 3 titles are given in Swamiji's case. Have we told about that 3 titles? Yes, Swamiji's is Experiential Bhagavad Gita. We have to give brighter, very interesting, try to give interesting titles so that you get attracted. Actually, there is nothing in the title. Finally, we will speak the same truth. And we are people who know only one thing about the truth, which is only one. We go on presenting it in different manner and try to make it interesting to you so that you can at least try, at least get interested in it and practice it and all. So the Swamiji has been given the experiential Bhagavad Gita. I have been given the walking the inner path. Both are same. Unless you walk the inner path, you will not have the experience. And Ma has been given what? It has been a generic title, so anything can be done there. No? Because that Namrata has already introduced Ma as a universal mother, but epitome of Vairagya. So in conversation, you will get enough of motherhood and Vairagya, we believe. So, so in the inner path, Bhagavad Gita, not only Bhagavad Gita, the entire spirituality is actually to do with the inner path. It's an inner path, inner journey. Now in such a journey, inner journey, why was it given a background of a great war, like Mahabharata war? It's not just a war where the seeker or sadhaka Arjuna is fighting with his own hand, own bow, being present in the war field, not like present day, sitting in your own office and allowing the bombers to go and bomb and create havoc. It was not like that. He had to fight the war standing in the war field. Now, why such a background has been created? For the truth which is there in the Upanishads. Upanishads, Swamiji has already explained the last part of the Vedas, the book of knowledge. Now, in the Upanishads, if you find all the background stories, suppose it is a seeker leaving his household life, has gone to the hermitage to get the tuition from a teacher who is living in the forest. Or it is an 18-day dialogue between a king and a saint taking place in the peaceful atmosphere of a palace, like Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana. Or it is as in Bhagavatam, where the king has only 7 days left of his life and he's listening to Srimad Bhagavatam from an extremely rare kind of a saint, Shukamani. Extremely pure and rare kind of a personality, where? Sitting on the bank of Bhagirathi. There is no war or no disturbance at all. Everywhere it is in a peaceful situation. So the truth about that is the ultimate truth about our existence, about the creation, about our real identity. Because the truth, ultimate truth, which is the substratum of the whole creation, the most interesting fact in that is that truth is our own identity. Identity means which we are referring to as I. Without knowing its dimension, without knowing its expanse, without knowing its subtlety, we think that I am that body-mind personality, this is what I am. So, to present the concept of such a truth, it is everywhere we need a very peaceful surroundings, where the mind can go beyond the usual involvement, usual attraction, repulsion, and absorb the truth from the teacher. That is why in each class of Upanishad, always we start with a Shanti mantra, which is meant to create the atmosphere for the communication of this truth. This truth is so subtle and so different from what we are interacting with. Right from birth, and so to say it is before birth also, because the same things have been continuing for generations. We receive it, we inherit it from our parents, grandparents and grand-grandparents, that we have been interacting only with the external objects, is it not? In life, if you have crossed 50 years, so 50 years, of the 50 years, you multiply it by 365, then 24. That all these hours you have been interacting, we have been interacting only with small things, objective, gross things, external things. How much time you have thought about the internal truth? Generally not. So, this has got in completely embedded in ourselves, that we are given to interact with something different from us, something solid, perceptible to our senses. So when we try to perceive the truth or to have a proper idea about the truth also. There's no mystery or no wonder that we actually miss the goal, because there also we want to see that Atma or the real truth or our real identity as something objective. As if we sit in meditation thinking that we will have a realization of the soul, thinking that one meditative time the soul will rise and I will see that I have known the soul, I have met the soul. That means it is something different from me. So, the whole spiritual path is the inner path, and that is to disassociate ourselves with the objective involvement which we have been, infinite number of objective involvement which we have been used to, which has gone into ourselves with thousands of items. Even in our thoughts also, we never think about who am I. Generally we are thinking of what happened today, whom I met, and what happened either good or bad or so. These are all external. So, it is always walking the inner path in spirituality. But in presenting that kind of a truth, which has nothing, which is away from the external small appearances of the objects, why a war situation has been presented. Perhaps we don't know what was there in Vedavyas's mind, but what we can think of is, what is applicable to us is that, can you think of the most of the people who are taking to spiritual pursuit, we find the problem as they describe is when to do meditation, Swamiji, or when to study the scriptures. Because throughout the day we are involved in, mostly in profession if they are young, otherwise in the household, looking after children or kitchen or grandchildren or this way, that way. We don't get time to practice. And particularly when they sit for meditation, it's a common thing that throughout the day we have so much of involvement that the mind runs here and there. So the Bhagavad Gita, if we think about it, it tells us that can we think of a more, of a stronger involvement than Arjuna's involvement in the war, where he has to kill his own beloved, most beloved grandfather, the most respected teacher, Drona, and grandfather Bhishma, and all other kith and kin and many others also. He has to kill himself, standing in the war field. Is it more absorbing and involving than what we are doing? What are we doing? Working in the office or in the factory or in the kitchen or in household? What is there? What kind of external involvement it is? So if the practice of this internal truth, walking on the inner path, can be done while fighting the war, can it not be done by all of us when we are involved in it? So it is focusing on a very basic misconception that we are suffering from all over the world. That we are we are making the spiritual pursuit for 1 hour or half an hour or 5 minutes in the whole day. And rest of it all remain worldly activities. Bhagavad Gita is straight away telling us that no, there cannot be any worldly activities at all. Whatever you do, I am not asking you, Krishna says, that to leave your work and do something else, do meditation. Or rather, Arjuna was saying that, why are you asking me to fight this sinful war? I would better go to the forest and take up sannyasa and live my life in studies and meditation. He says, no, you are not fit for that. So, they have, particularly the presentation is such that if that involvement can be transformed into a spiritual sadhana, spiritual pursuit, then all our daily involvement, daily activities, can they not be transformed into spiritual sadhana or spiritual pursuit? So for that, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given various practices based on one thing, which is not Really karma yoga, although karma yoga word is used, but buddhi yoga is the word used repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita. Why? The karma or activity becomes yoga only by a transformation in the intelligence, in our understanding. So it becomes buddhi yoga. The yoga is attained, not when we say karma yoga, it is not meant that we will do lot of activities and more activities. No, it will remain karma only. It will become yoga only when, by applying our understanding, we try to change our attitude, our mind, our intelligence, so that any activity will become yoga. So, generally, in very wide scale all over the world, we think that the activities are hindrance to our sadhana. Is it not? How can I do sadhana, Swamiji? Marriage is there, my son's marriage is there, or this has to be done, that has to be done, office I have to face the boss, so much of pressure is there. No. Bhagavad Gita is saying all activities have to be transformed into yoga. And how? By changing our understanding. It is the activities are not hindrance at all. It is our mental attitude with which we engage in activities that needs a change. We are always selfish, thinking of our personal gain, personal loss, etc. in doing all the activities. And Bhagavad Gita is asking us not to do that. Change your mindset with which you are engaging in the activities. As in the first chapter itself, Arjuna was saying that Ahovata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanamudyataha. That we are out to kill our own people, my most beloved grandfather, the most respected teacher. Why? Why is very clearly written here. Yat rajya sukha lobhena. Because we want to win over the war, to win the kingdom, become a king, and as if the king's life is very satisfying, peaceful. It's never so. It's only delusion of Arjuna that he is thinking like that. So Krishna said that yes, it is a papa, it is one of the greatest sin if you fight the war to win over the kingdom and be happy in that for the happiness and comfort of kingship, you are fighting the war for any selfish reason like that. It is going to be sinful. I am not asking you to fight for that. I am asking you to fight because the world is suffering because of wrong kingship. The people have become corrupt. The kings have become corrupt. We have to establish a righteous rule on earth. And that is your duty, to see that by fighting the war, you can try to establish a righteous rule on earth. You may fail in the process, but that is what your duty is as a Kshatriya, as a warrior, as an administrative person. You should try to do it. If you succeed, then it will be successful. If you don't succeed also, it doesn't matter, because you have given your life to do the right thing which you are supposed to do. So, it is the change of the mindset which will make, according to Bhagavad Gita, which will make every action a yajna. Yajna means an offering to the Lord. Since normally in the karma kanda, the ritualistic part of the Vedas, which Swamiji said he will speak later perhaps, there the yajna word is used for rituals. Various kinds of offering to the fire people make, those rituals. And there the rituals are performed with the idea of gaining something. Suppose somebody is not happy with the present life, they think that at least after death I should have a happy life. So I should go to this heaven and that heaven, or some heaven. Or in the life also, in Dasharatha's case, he did not have sons, so he wanted son for that putra kameshti yajna also. So yajna, any yajna is done with a selfish desire. The desire is the basic. If you don't have the desire for going to the heaven, why should you perform those yajnas? You will not. So with a desire they do. Whereas in Upanishadic, the Bhagavad Gita, based on the Upanishads, the whole concept is reversed. Bhagavad Gita presents in which chapter? In 4th chapter perhaps. That everything will become yajna if you do it with a surrender to the, as an offering to the Lord. The whole universe is moving not with a selfish motive. The earth is going around the sun. The plants are growing. The flowers are blossoming. Every time the leaves are coming up, the birds are going around. Everything is going on in a cosmic cycle. There is no desire anywhere. It's a desireless activity. Can we not also do that? That whatever my body-mind personality is capable of, whatever the society, the world needs contribution from me, we do it without any selfish motive, without any desire in our mind. And that is the best way of activity when we become harmonious with nature, do things harmoniously, offering as an offering to the Lord. Then it becomes yajna. So nobody has to do the ritualistic yajna there. What we have to do is whatever we are doing, change the mindset, make it an offering to the Lord. How will you make it? By not having the selfish mindset, making it an offering surrendered to the Lord, surrendered to nature, and being in harmony with nature, we do whatever to be done. Then the whole life will become a yajna. This is the fundamental of that. It can be presented in various ways, but this is one way we can understand how this inner journey, walking the inner path, means we are doing activity outside, but at the same time, the outside activity is not important. Important is my mindset. How to change that mindset and make it as an offering. That is change in the internal mindset. The activity will remain the same. It will undergo certain changes because of my mindset. But while doing the activity, the whole change will be brought out in the mindset, making it a yajna. So that is how we would like to walk the inner path. Okay.